So yesterday I lost my cat Minnow. Yesterday I made the 9 hour drive back from Oregon to California to spend the holidays here with my family. And like usual, I brought Minnow along with me. And when I got home, my sister was here, my parents were here, and we were just like chatting, and eventually we had dinner. And I think at around like 7 o'clock evening, my sister left, and me and my parents we were just like eating dinner, and the TV was on, and we were just chatting, and I think at around like 8 or so, I was just like on my phone. I was taking some like personality quiz, and I was like laying down on the couch, and that whole ordeal took me like a good like 45 minutes or so. By the time I was done, I was like drinking soup because my parents like they usually like make me drink soup. Um, I was drinking my soup, and then I was like, "Where's Minnow?" So like he usually likes to hide in like random places, especially at my parents' house here. Um, Typically he has like his favorite spots. Like it's either under my bed or on top of like a really tall cabinet. And like I started searching for him everywhere. And my dad was like, "Oh, like where the hell is he?" And and then like eventually we all ended up looking for him. And like we started searching everywhere. Like I started looking under my bed, started like looking in my closet. Like there's a lot of good hiding spots around here. And the house is like, it's like decently sized. And we started looking under like sofas and everywhere, like behind the TV. Started looking in the garage. And I think about like around like 15 minutes, we still couldn't find him. And that was when I, kind of went from a frantically searching into a panic search. And we're like, okay, like could he have gotten out like when my sister left, like through the front door? It's like, no, that's not possible, because it's like a double door, and it's like it was locked the entire time. And after she left, like we remembered. I think a lot of events we were trying to like backtrack, like, oh, okay, like when did my sister leave, and like when did we last like hear him like making noise? And because he likes to like jump around a lot, and he is not a graceful cat. So when he jumped from like a tabletop or on top from the top of a cabinet, it would sound like 100-pound person is jumping, even though he's only like 9.5 pounds. Um, so yeah, we were just trying to like backtrack, and like we're like, no, like for sure we heard him like after my sister left, so he's got to be in the house somewhere. And then we were also trying to backtrack, like, okay, like when did we finish dinner? When did Minnow's automatic feeder go off? And also like when did my mom like when did my mom feed the dogs? We have two German shepherds as well. Well, my parents. And it was just a lot of like, oh, I'm sure like my mom was saying like, oh, like I'm sure like I closed the door like immediately after like I went out to like the backyard, because the dogs are in the backyard. And there's like a big sliding door. So she claimed that like every time she goes in or out of that sliding door, she closes it immediately, afterwards. So she was like really confident that like there's no way like he could have like gotten out the back door unless that like small window of opportunity when she slid the door open, he just like jetted out or something, right? So um and we were also like saying, oh, if he had like jetted out, like the two dogs would chase after him. But I was like, that's not necessarily true, because that probably would have been the case like in the earlier days when my cat and the dogs weren't really that familiar with each other. But I'm like, nowadays, they know who each of them like are. My dog knows my cat knows my dog. So I was like, yeah, it's not necessarily true that they would chase after him if he did like sneak out the backsliding door. So it was like, okay, like he's got to be like in the house somewhere, right? So literally, like we were searching. We've like flipped the house like upside down, um, like 5 times over, and I started searching in places that doesn't even make sense. Like started looking in like the kitchen cabinets. I started opening the dishwasher. I started looking in the fridge, the freezer, like everything, through all the boxes. Like I started like going into my sister's room, which was like already closed to begin with. Well, I was like flipping that shit around too. So man, I think at that point, like an hour in, or not even then, like around an hour in, like I started just like feeling this sense of like, shit, like this feels like a really really bad nightmare. I'm like, this is not real. Like I did not just like come home with the hopes of like trying to be together with family, and in the process I lost my cat. And just for context, like this cat became my world. Like when I first, so like me and my ex, we got the cat together, and in the beginning when he was a kitten, I was like, oh yeah, like he's cool, like he's cute. But then like after we separated and then we moved into like our own separate places, it was just like literally me and Minnow. And it's like he was there for me when like I was at my low point. So he slowly became my world. He became my everything. For basically the past almost 2 years. So that's why like yesterday I was like, Jesus, this feels like a fucking nightmare, and like it's just like snap out of it, like wake up or something. And I was feeling like I was edging on a panic attack. And like I used to have panic attacks like pretty often, especially like if I like smoke weed or something. But this time it was like it's really similar to that feeling of like on that border of going into a full blown panic attack. And like for me at least, once I go into a panic attack, it's one of those things where once you're in, like you can't control yourself, you can't control it, and it just kind of like loops itself. And it's like I don't know, like your soul leaves your body, and like another entity just kind of like takes over until the panic attack dies down. So yeah, like I was feeling that, and I was also just feeling like really lost and confused and helpless, and I didn't know like what else to do. Like I was looking for an answer and I didn't have it. And like I flipped the house upside down like 4 times. I I started like going out to the back of the house and also to the front of the house multiple times with like flashlight. And this was like already like 10 p.m. And it was like cold as shit. And I was out there with my beanie. I was like, fuck, like I feel like I'm a robber right now, right? Like it's like really shady, right? If you think about it. But I was like, fuck it, like I'm trying to look for my cat. But that was really short lived because I'm like, it's just really hard to try to look for your cat when it's so dark, and like it just wasn't really producing like any results. Yeah, so the search kind of went on from around like 8 something until pretty much like past midnight. And I reached out to my ex and I was like, fuck, like, here's what's happening. And, we were just trying to like think of like every possibility. And like, but honestly, it's like, but the both of us, we were like, we don't know. Like, we were feeling like super helpless and just didn't know what the fuck to do. At that point, like at around like past 12, I was just like, there's really not much that I can do right now. Like, he had the microchip. We could like only hope that someone finds him and, turn them into like the shelter or a hospital or something and get chipped and get in contact. And like at that point, I realized that the microchip that he had, the membership was expired. So I was trying to like renew it, but it was like just giving me all these errors. But fortunately, I read somewhere on the website that said like, oh, like even if the membership is expired, the info is still like saved, and I don't know, like people could still like technically like reach out to the owners or whatever. So I was like, great, but like I was just still trying to figure it out, right? And at that point, I was already pretty like sleepy, but I was just like, okay, let me just try to like handle this one last thing before like, I go to sleep, and then the next day, like, I don't know, go on a manhunt looking for my cat, or posting up like posters, right? Missing cat posters. Not really sure like how effective that would have been, but I was like, whatever. Like I can't really do anything right now at this point. So as I was trying to figure out the account situation, I heard a wow. I was like, what? So I thought it was either coming from the front, like outside my bedroom door, or right outside my bedroom window facing the street. And then like 3 seconds passed, and it was like dead silent, and I heard a second wow. I was like, Minnow? I was like, holy fucking shit. And then I like immediately jumped out of my bed, grabbed my phone, for the flashlight, and I was just like, Minnow, like. And then I like ran out, well not ran out, but like I brisk walked out the front door, and like had my flashlight on and everything, and turned the corner to like where my front window would be, and I saw like some like shadows of like 2 cats or something, and then there was like one cat closer to me, and then one cat that was like behind that cat, or object, animal, whatever. Well, it's a cat because I heard the meow. And that meow, when I first heard it, it sounded like Minnow's meow. But then now that I think about it, I don't know if all meows sound the same. But I felt like in that moment, I was like, hey, that sounds like Minnow's meow. And so, I went out there, and then, as I got the first glimpse of these shadows, the cat in the back like ran away, and then I saw it was like looked like a dark black shadow that just kind of like scurried away. So as I got like a step closer, and like my light, like shone. I want to say shone, but whatever. I don't give a shit. Shone, more clearly. I was like, Minnow, and it was fucking Minnow. And like he like turned his back to like look at the cat that just ran away, and then like looked at me. I was like, oh, Minnow, Minnow, and then like I knelt down to try to like pick him up, and he fucking ran away from me, toward the front gate of my house. So like he kind of ran towards the front gate, but I was able to like finally grab him. And like at that moment, I was like, it was like I don't really know how you explain it, but it's like, I don't have kids, but it's like, if I had a kid and my kid went missing and I found my kid, that's how I would imagine I would feel. Because when I lost my kid, I felt really devastated and just like, I don't know what the word is that I was feeling in that moment, but it was just like loss and devastation. And I tend to like think of the worst of situations, so I was like kind of like prepared to be like, well, the worst just might happen. So like when I saw and heard and found and was able to embrace Minnow, it was like the most like relieving thing ever. And I think like before that, like I was just like talking to myself. I was like I don't care. Like I would do anything to have my boy back. And yeah, I mean, not to get too emotional, but let's just say I am really glad and really happy. Happy that my little boy came back to me. Here, take a good look at him. How you doing, boy? He probably ran away to look for like a boyfriend or a girlfriend. I don't know. Now he think he got street credit because he ran away for the first time. So now he probably thinks he's hard. He's from the streets. Oh yeah, boy. Tell them how bad you were. Eh? Tell them how bad you were. I love him. Say bye. Say bye. Say bye. Say bye.